King Henry VIII's reign from 1509 to 1547 stood at the centre of a cultural revolution in England in which food preparation was to play a prominent part at court as the country renewed itself in the age of Renaissance and Reformation. For 6 years, a team of experimental archaeologists have studied the workings of the Tudor kitchen at Hampton Court, the palace on the River Thames, which Henry acquired from his doomed Lord Chancellor Thomas Wolsey in 1528. Hampton Court's kitchens formed a complex of 55 rooms, worked by a staff of around 200. Serving twice daily meals for a court of 600 people. Records show that in 1 year, Henry's courtiers consumed 1,240 oxen, 8,200 sheep, 2,330 deer, 760 calves, 1,870 pigs, 53 wild boar, a multitude of fish species from cod to whale, a lot of fowl from swan to peacock, all washed down with 60,000 gallons of ale. Food played an important part of Henry's profile as a sumptuous Renaissance prince and in the impressing of foreign diplomats and visitors. Henry, as a gargantuan trencherman, exhibited a personal assertion of national independence in Catholic Europe and a front for Tudor state power. It is likely too that Henry increased his comfort eating on the death of Jane Seymour, his third wife and love of his life. On the 24th of October 1536, Jane died just 12 days after the birth of her son. Physically, Henry VIII was 6 foot 2 inches tall, and his well-built frame became massively fat as he grew older. He was 18 when he came to the throne. He was pale-skinned, blue-eyed, and had the Tudor golden red hair. He was a charmer of fair competence. One Venetian visitor remarked, "His Majesty is the handsomest prince I ever set eyes on, and a vigorous player of tennis, rider of horses, and an upskilled wrestler." And the Spanish ambassador noted that Henry's limbs were gigantic in size. A study of his suits of armour in the Tower of London and elsewhere show that in 1512 the king had a waist of 32 inches, which increased in the early 1520s to 35 inches. And in 1545 it increased to 54 inches. His portraits also show his swelling of fatness, wherein Cornelius Matsey's 1544 portrait of Henry show cheeks sagging predominantly with fat, and his eyes and mouth were slits within a bulbous swelling. From the 1540s, Henry suffered from increasing periods of ill health. He endured ulcers for many years, eventually in both legs. Some people think they were a result of syphilis, but this is not my own personal opinion. There is no evidence for this diagnosis. Certainly the records of his chief apothecary show no administrations of the then treatment, mercury. None of his wives or known mistresses had the disease, and his children showed no evidence of congenital syphilis. In fact, the ulceration could have been caused through varicose veins, or most likely through a jousting accident. Henry had periods of remission, then agonising swelling and discharge. He also became depressed, and the pain added to his scary, unpredictable temper. Exercise was made more difficult. Being unable to exercise as he did when he was a young man, Henry put on weight rapidly. By 1546, he could hardly walk. He was carried inside and out in a set of wooden velvet and gold-decorated, specially constructed chairs called trams, probably like the later sedan chairs. He had to be winched onto his horse, and his armour was cut open to accommodate his swollen legs. Henry died at Whitehall Palace at around 2 o'clock in the morning on Friday the 28th of January 1547 at the age of 55. It took 16 yeomen of the guard to manoeuvre the coffin. During the funeral service, Henry's coffin burst open, spreading, as they said, offensive matter and filling the chapel with the most obnoxious odour. Dogs were discovered soon after licking up the monarch's remains. In 1813, the vault was opened at Windsor, and Henry's coffin was seen to have gaped open to reveal his skeleton. It is estimated that Henry had a BMI of 35 and probably weighed between 25 to 30 stones. Thus today, Henry would be described as being morbidly obese. And this concludes the video. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please click the like button, give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe for future videos. Thank you.